Good morning. Listen to that beautiful sound resounding in the room. Thank you, Jim. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Gainesville, Florida. Almost said Georgia. I am Liz Stewart. I am chair of the worship team, and I will be your worship associate for this morning. We're glad you're here. If you've taken some time to be with us in the sanctuary today, that's very special. Thank you. And we also welcome those of you who are seeing us online, especially our folks in Valdosta, and we stole Samara from you for today. Anyway, we do have Samara with us. Many of you will remember Samara, and so she is going to be delivering our message today. So you're in our lovely sanctuary, or perhaps you've visited in the past, and you know that we have a gorgeous campus. I've gotten reports anywhere from 6 to 10 acres. I'm not real sure, but a lot of it's covered with beautiful foliage, and recently discovered that we have orange trees and grapefruit trees, and people have enjoyed the pickings. So that's wonderful. And so we acknowledge and we give thanks to our predecessors on these wonderful lands, the Timucua and the Seminoles. They enjoyed, I don't know, probably not the same fruit trees, but probably had some fruit trees of their own. I am, to describe myself, I am a petite, cisgender white woman of a very small stature and gray hair. And my pronouns are she and her. And I just really enjoy being here and being with this wonderful group of people. It fills me up, and it has for many years, and will continue to do so for many more, I'm sure. And in that vein, we have somebody coming up to give some good news about being here for many years. Sandra Top has a message for us.
Thanks, Liz. I'm Sandra Top. I'm a member of the stewardship team this year, and I am a cisgendered middle-aged woman of European descent, wearing a white and green striped shirt and white pants. This is our last stewardship team update before our annual meeting next Sunday. Can I have the second slide? As of today, we have $306,000 pledged. This is within $19,000 of our goal of $325,000. Our pledges so far have exceeded last year's giving by $39,000 and up $45,000 from 2 years ago. Thank you to all who have pledged and all who were able to increase their pledge and did so this year. Thank you so much. Slide 3. We received 64 time and talent forms with 426 gifts of service pledged. Our goal for this was 75 time and talent forms, so we still would like a few more of those. I am one of those who did not fill one out, so I just filled one out now. They are available in the back of the sanctuary along with pledge cards, so feel free to fill them out if you have not already. Which brings me to slide 4. And if you are not in the sanctuary and you would like to give online, you can go to our website at uufg.org/give, and you can do so there. Again, thank you so much for making this pledge drive a success. I am excited to see what next year brings for UFG.
Kirsten Flamond has something for us.
Good morning. I'm Kirsten Flamond, and I'm the communications coordinator for the music people. This year without a minister has not been a year without music. Our music program has expanded in lovely, joyful ways, thanks to our beautiful Tanae and our beautiful Jane with their beautiful music. And we've had residents come sing, and we have our Yucaterian group, and we are all going to celebrate this whole year this coming Friday evening. We have a concert. It's at 7:30 p.m. here. The concert will include all of those people I told you about, plus some soloists, a couple duets. It'll be a special evening. The evening this Friday, it starts at 7:30. It's here. Free admission, donations will be accepted. Proceeds from donations benefit our music program. We will feature the Chalice Choir, the Yucaterians, residents, and special guest musicians. Please join us to celebrate. Oh, and afterwards we will have delicious refreshments with wine and beer and snack foods. Please join us this Friday night, 7:30.
Our chalice lighting words today come from Katie Savani Gelfand. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength from one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us.
Good morning. I am a tall, middle-aged, fluffy, non-binary, endosex Amazon, racialized as white, with invisible disability and a temporarily able body. I use they, her, and she pronouns. And I'm wearing slacks and a top and a cardigan in varying shades of my power color, gray. And I have short, scrabbly, brownish, blonde hair that most closely resembles a chaos mop, streaked with gray. It is so good to be back with you all today for so long. I am approaching my final year of internship and education for my Master of Divinity at Meadville Lombard Theological School. And for those of you who may be new or whom we've not met, UUFG is my sponsoring congregation as well as my home congregation for entering seminary and pursuing credentialing as an emerging Unitarian Universalist minister. I started in the fall of 2021. I'll be graduating next spring. And what a long, strange trip it's been. Unrelated, for those following along at home, I'm up to day 1,397 of my Duolingo Spanish streak. I'm very proud of that. For our opening words today, I'm offering you Reverend Gretchen Haley's poem, God Runs Late for Church. And if you're so inclined, you may substitute in your mind and heart the divine mystery of my understanding anywhere that it says God. Today, God is running late, trying to find their seat, scanning the room for someone they know or someone they don't. God's feeling evangelical, but not in a judgy way. Mysterious, but not manipulative. God can't stop thinking about the James Webb Telescope and the possibility that time is not linear, which God might have guessed from the never-ending urgency of some upcoming election and the likelihood that sometime next week, candy for Halloween will show up at the grocery store. Sure seems like next week, doesn't it? God is tired of grief and white supremacy and the warming of the oceans, not to mention they usually come to the later service and it's hot. Why hasn't the climate-friendly air conditioning been installed yet? God wonders. And of course, we're all like, no kidding, God. Can't you do something about that? But God's hearing aid batteries ran out. And they haven't had time to order more. Oh, that's what they say when asked and can hear the question. But really, the last emergency room visit maxed out their credit cards. And their partner's been working DoorDash for some extra cash. But it's just not enough. And really, God just wants to be present. Stop worrying about everything and sing and breathe and laugh. From the back, a black woman wearing a hat and a small black child are seated in a church pew. We got you, God, we say. We'll settle in and we'll be present and we'll sing. We'll tell stories and breathe deep. We'll remember ourselves and offer whole galaxies of gratitude for all this beauty, for still blooming salvia and full apple trees, zucchini bread and a U.S. women's soccer team, for protest letters and entire villages of people saying, "You are safe here." God, your creation is not yet done creating you. Come, let us worship together.
Please stand as you are willing and able and join in hymn number 134, Our World is One World.
My name is James Chase, and I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Gainesville. I am a white, medium-sized person who is non-binary and uses they, them pronouns. And today I am wearing a black shirt, blue jeans with a hole ripped in them, and black shoes. And I'm actually remarkably clean. We have... Sorry. Our kids are not in here today because we're outside having a messy play date. And until about 5 minutes before service, I was out there just reveling with them. We're making slime, we have shaving cream and food coloring. We're using cardboard boxes and making carts. They've set up a racetrack, and they're just having so much fun. So while they're out there doing their important work, I'm going to read a story for you and for everybody online. And after I finish my story, we don't actually have to sing the song today, as a special treat. I will say I would like to extend an invitation for anyone who has not participated in one of our Article 2 discussion groups. Today is the last one, and we're going to be meeting here at 12:30 to have a discussion around Article 2, which is one of the topics we will be voting on at our congregational meeting next week. So if you have any questions, if you have any feelings, anything you want to share and be heard, please come to this group and come join us in community there. Today, our book is called Should I Share My Ice Cream by Mo Willems. Ice cream, get your cold ice cream for a hot day.
Oh boy, ice cream. One ice cream, please.
Here you go.
Oh boy, I love ice cream. Wait, Piggy loves ice cream too. Piggy is my best friend. Should I share my ice cream with her? Should I share my awesome, yummy, sweet, super great, tasty, nice, cool ice cream? Maybe Piggy does not like this flavor. Sharing a flavor Piggy does not like would be wrong. I will eat the ice cream. Wait, Piggy will like this flavor. It is very yummy. I will share my ice cream. It will not be easy. Hey, Piggy is not here. She does not know that I have ice cream. I will eat the ice cream.
Where is Piggy?
What if she is sad somewhere? I must find her. When I do, I will say, "Would you like some of my ice cream?" And then she will say,
Thank you. That would cheer me up.
and then I will give her my ice cream to share.
Yum.
Then my best friend will be happy. I will do it. I will share my ice cream. No! Now Piggy cannot have any of my ice cream. Now I cannot have any of my ice cream. I blew it.
You look sad. Would you like some of my ice cream?
That would cheer me up, thank you. Yum. That was not my plan. Oh well, this works too. The end.
Hopefully everyone has a gray hymnal with you. In the back of the gray hymnal are the readings and core is going to come up and lead us in number 664 in the back of the hymnal. Number 664. It's called Give Us the Spirit of the Child.
Hi, my name is Cora Rowe, and I am a AFAB non-binary middle-sized person. I use they, them pronouns, and I am wearing black with a green jacket, and my hair is like purple and blue and then green. So our reading today is Give Us the Spirit of the Child. So I am going to read the text, and you are going to respond with the italicized text underneath it. So, give us the spirit of the child. Give us the spirit of the child. Give us the child who lives within. The child who trusts, the child who imagines, the child who sings. The child who receives without reservation, the child who gives without judgment. Give us a child's ears, that we may hear the music of mythical times. Give us a child's heart, that we may be filled with wonder and delight. Give us a child's faith, that we may be cured of our cynicism. Give us the spirit of the child, who is not afraid to lead, who is not afraid to love.
Oops, my bad. Each week, we ask that folks can share, if they choose, their joys and concerns in our congregational book. It's kept at the back of the sanctuary, and we do invite folks to write in it, because from my perspective anyway, a joy that is shared can be magnified, and a sorrow that can be shared, the burden of the sorrow is then lightened. And the first joy is that we have some visitors with us today. And I'm just going to read your first names, and if you would be so kind as to maybe wave, and then folks can seek you out during our coffee hour, which happens after the service in the hall right next door. So we have John, Christina, Mary Ellen, Dee Dee, Amy, Stacy, Donna, Joe, and Julia. Wonderful. Thank you all very much. Welcome. And this one is from Sandra Top. Thoughts for my mother, who is recovering from a procedure to remove a melanoma this week. And from Kirsten Flamond, please join us at our 5th and final session of Pickleball for All. It's this Thursday, May 2nd at 5 p.m. At that gathering, we will plan a late spring session. All are welcome. And I like some of the little blurbs in the Gazette have said, bring your grandchildren or your grandparents. Okay. This is a concern from Jonathan Caron. Perhaps there will be justice again in our political system. Time will tell, as will the efforts of many people across this country. Often we carry our joys and concerns deep in our hearts and find them difficult to share. At this time, we invite you to come forward as you are moved or able and drop a stone in the communal bowl. The stone shall represent your deep emotion, while the water represents the surrounding warmth, love, and caring of our beloved community. Marcia Wolf will now share our first reading with us.
This is a reading entitled Rare Indeed by James Baldwin. It is rare indeed that people give. Most people guard and keep. They suppose that it is they themselves and what they identify that they are guarding and keeping. Whereas what they are actually guarding and keeping is their system of reality and what they assume themselves to be. One can give nothing whatever without giving oneself. That is to say, risking oneself. If one cannot risk oneself, then one is simply incapable of giving.
Thank you. Samara's sermon is entitled To Give or Not to Give, and she will speak eloquently about the concept of true generosity in just a moment. However, if any of you have any doubt about when to give to our fellowship's care and feeding, the time is now. Will the ushers please come forward as Jane favors us with some lovely music.
I delivered a sermon at Valdosta a few months ago called, Is Church Volunteering Like Squeezing Blood from a Stone? The first line of that sermon was literally a disclaimer promising that I would not be asking for people to volunteer that day. Do y'all need a similar disclaimer? I mean, I don't want to create any tension here because I want y'all to be able to pay attention, and if you're all distracted wondering whether or not I'm going to deliver the ask, you're going to miss the message, and I worked really hard on it. But actually, that's not a bad place to start. Do you need the reassurance to stay present today? Generosity is one of the foundations of our Unitarian Universalist theologies. Draw the circle wide, room at the table, radical welcome. These are expansive values, but bracing for the ask doesn't feel very expansive, does it? I'm going to invite you to do a little experiment with me right now. It's totally optional, so if you don't do it, just sit tight for a minute, or loose, if that's what floats your boat. But those of you who would like to participate, please close your eyes if you are comfortable with that, and tune in now to how your body is feeling. Notice your shoulders, your back, your breathing. Let your body settle gently into its position and breathe ease into your belly as you deeply inhale and exhale at a natural pace. Let's be here for a moment. Now, while we're in this present space together, I'm going to do something dastardly. I'm going to pose some theoretical asks, and I want you to observe in real time the responses of your body. Here we go. It's stewardship season. Have you turned in your pledge card yet? Or how about, we're looking for volunteers for 4 committees and the next 6 months of coffee hours and Sparkle Saturdays. Now it's time for the offering. How did your body take that? Okay, come on back, shake it off. Come on back to the room. Those were theoretical asks. But what did you notice happening in your body? Any 1 or 2 word responses that anyone wants to call out from the room? Anyone feeling? Say again? Anxiety. Pressure. Ooh, yeah. Guilt. Oh, that's a good one. Relaxation. Oh, if only for us all. So tension, anxiety, these things like guilt, these are all sort of like tension. And even relaxation, there's a sense of looseness and ease, right? I had this whole sermon planned out. It's going to serve as my final project for my preaching class this semester. And I had my first draft done a month ago, and I workshopped it with my formation group, and I planned with Liz so that I could be here with you all today in time to turn in the recording to my teacher. And as often happens with me, at least in part due to neurodivergence and the value of imminence in getting my brain to work in certain useful ways, it wasn't until yesterday that I had my final draft, or so I thought. I even got to within 50 words of the word count, but when I went to bed last night, I couldn't go to sleep. I kept thinking about the sermon and had this lingering feeling that it was disjointed, that something was missing. So I did the litmus test. I asked myself, why does this message matter to these people in this moment? And you know, I couldn't think of a single reason that wasn't put on, too pat, or contrived. Because I'm not qualified to preach to you about the redemptive expansiveness of big, free, radical love as a theological grounding for generosity. Because it'd be a damn hypocrite. Here's why. Growing up, I had a loving and somewhat typical childhood, and in many ways, I now believe that I was navigating undiagnosed autistic tendencies that have given me a gift of extraordinary receptivity to input, data. I have an ability to synthesize huge quantities of data in what I have called my quantum brain, kind of operates back here and then gives me outputs into my conscious mind. It's been great in many ways. Another key factor growing up was that the family culture in which I was raised normalized too much as just right. Too much attention, too much emotional engagement, too much food, too much, too much, too much. It wasn't until my 30s that I began to realize that being born with a mind that is sensitive and pulling in a lot of data already, and then combining that with having an instrument inundated by the too muchness of my family culture, created a pathway for me to understand normal giving only in the context of what wore me down. A minister told me recently, overfunction often masks dysfunction. And I'm like, yeah. Just ask the giving tree. Erin, can you pull up that slide, please? Is everyone familiar with the Shel Silverstein book, The Giving Tree? Basically, okay. It's basically a boy and a tree are friends, but the relationship slips sharply into codependency as the boy grows up until the tree literally cuts itself down to provide for his need. This, what's on the screen now, is the second to last page of the book. And the words are almost not important, but I'm going to read them for anybody who isn't going to be able to see them from your seat. It says, "I do not need very much now," said the boy, "just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did. Giving as much as I give. It might look like expansiveness because of how quote-unquote generous I am, but it's really the imbalance of too much. I can hear my mom's inner "I told you so" right now. Thanks, Mom, I love you too. So what I came to last night was that it's not the whole "if you tense up, you're doing it wrong," because in some situations, like mine, and maybe like yours, if what I'm describing sounds familiar to you, a little resistance, a little holy no might have saved us a lot of trouble. So how do we reconfigure our understanding of generosity then? How do we reclaim it from the whole Scrooge versus giving tree model of extremity that vaunts martyrdom and lets voracious consumption go unchecked? Where's the balance? I think one of the reasons that some folks can get caught up in a transactional and too tight or too loose notion of generosity is because in a society eroded by white supremacy culture, we are taught to bootstrap and to be independent. When we're all tied up in individualism and meritocracy and respectability politics and a culture of self-control, loving radically and accountably seems unreasonable or even impossible. Because the sum of all the pain and suffering in the world is too big for any of us to handle. We'd all be stumps. And it is very reasonable to not want to be ground down to a stump. So how do we deal with the too muchness of the world, then? There is a quote from Louise Erdrich's novel, The Painted Drum, that I want to share with you. It goes like this, quote, "Life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that. And living alone won't either, for solitude will also break you with its yearning. You have to love. You have to feel. It is the reason that you are here on earth. You are here to risk your heart. You are here to be swallowed up. And when it happens that you are broken or betrayed or left or hurt or death brushes near, let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling all around you, wasting their sweetness. Tell yourself that you tasted as many as you could." End quote. No single person is capable of being the all. That's what's wrong with the giving tree. It's not about generosity, that story. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of thinking that any one being can possibly answer all need. The swallowing up that is meant to happen is to allow ourselves to feel deeply the poignancy of life, to maintain receptivity by recognizing that we're never going to solve it all. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try, that we can't do our part, to reach for what apples we can. Theologically grounded generosity, then, means recognizing that we are each a part of the whole. That generosity is simply the flow of energy among the elements of that whole, like trees sending nutrients through the roots to their offshoot saplings, like those saplings growing into trees and offering apples. No single element will be able to meet the world's need, but here's the good news. The world has enough to meet the world's need. All we must do is our part. So embodying generosity was never about how deep into your wallet did you dig. It is so much more and less than that. A balanced and sustainable generosity springs from our connectedness and our interdependence. It can be a way of being in the world. And to really access that joy and the possibility of the few apples within our reach means being open to the capacity to lament the loss of those we cannot. Maybe that hurts too much. Maybe that's why we brace ourselves, feel small, resist, or let ourselves be chewed up in the too muchness of it all. We were never meant to do it individually, but in doing together, something holy happens, something expansive, something transformative, which is not measured in budget sheets, but in our willingness to arrive in love, to offer our holy yes and honor the limitations of our holy no, but to do both with reverence. Old Shakespeare was right. If you'll forgive the context adjustment from Hamlet's famous soliloquy, to be or not to be, it has always been about the perilous and gorgeous fact of our being that is the real question, not the giving or the doing. I wonder what would happen if we rewrote the soliloquy of our own not enoughness. If we let in the keening sorrow and the effulgent joy, if we let the rhythm of that breathe us like a grand inhale, exhale, loosening and breaking down our isolation from each other just as steadily as a tiller must break up hardened earth to plant seeds with a dream of an apple tree inside. So that when we say pledge drive, we mean I love you. And when the offering basket comes around, we mean we are in this together. What beauty will we write on the pages of the world together if we did that? What sorrow will inscribe itself on our souls in calling us to be deeper in connection with each other, deeper in presence? What is giving or not giving compared to that? May it be so. We're going to sing. We are going to sing our closing hymn, which is number 404 in your gray hymnal. What gift can we bring?
Now join together, please, in our words for the extinguishing of the chalice flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our closing words are from Reverend Eric Wickstrom. The purpose of this community is to help its people grow. If you are who you were, and if the person next to you is who he or she or they were, if none of us has changed since the day we came in here, we have failed. The purpose of this community, of any church, temple, zendo, or mosque, is to help its people grow. We do this through encounters with the unknown, in ourselves, in one another, in the other, whoever that might be for us. However hard that might be, because these encounters have many gifts to offer. So may you go forth from here this morning, not who you were, but who you could be. So may we all. Blessed be.